Hi everyone, my name is Dylan, and today I'd like to give you some ideas for planning a month's worth of social content. Now, as a small business, showing up consistently on our feeds is crucial for building awareness and engagement for your brand. Knowing this is one thing, but the real challenge is figuring out exactly what do you post day after day, week after week. So here are 29 different forms of content in no particular order for you to try out and take some of the guesswork out of content planning. Pick the ones that work for you and get into the habit of iterating on these same formats week after week. And of course, all the designs I'll be showing you today are available as templates in GoDaddy Studio. All right, let's take a whiz through them. Number one is to introduce yourself and your team. Never underestimate the value that you and your team have as the face of your brand. Now, telling us a little bit more about your background and your personal experiences adds some extra dimension to our perception of you. Plus, we may even discover some overlaps that make your business more relatable. Number two is to share an inspirational quote. Now, whether it's your own everyday philosophy or something that you found that really strikes a chord with you, posting quotes takes us a little bit closer to your view of the world. It'll go a long way in developing an identity and set of values. Number three is to celebrate a special day, week, or month. Now, whether it's a commemoration or a celebration, this is another way your brand can develop an association with particular communities and worldviews. From the serious, like a religious holiday, to the silly, like National Cookie Day or Halloween, there's bound to be at least one day of the month you could make some noise about. You could potentially run a promotion for this, but the simplest way to get on board would just be to acknowledge the occasion and perhaps share some well wishes. Number four is to share a positive review or testimonial. Now, word of mouth is undoubtedly the best type of marketing for a small business, so turning a positive review or some kind feedback into a piece of content is an excellent idea. It's easy to copy and paste a glowing review into a testimonial template and wrap up the social proof with your brand's look and feel. Not everyone is going to dig around for reviews on Google or your website, so put the most glowing ones right in front of them on your social feed. Number five is to ask your followers a question. Direct correspondence with your audience is one of the biggest advantages available to you as a small business owner. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of content planning, where you can simply ask your followers what they'd like to see more of. Now, the questions you ask your followers needn't relate purely to your content. It's also supremely useful to gauge opinion on a wider range of topics, including your product or your service. Number six is a this or that. Now, one quick and very specific format you can use to correspond with your audience is a this or that post, which is very popular on Instagram stories in particular. Now, your followers can screenshot the template you create and share it with their followers, which has kind of a ripple effect on engagement. These quick questions and answers can give you a much better sense of your audience's tastes and interests, which is really useful for ongoing content creation and community building. Number seven is to get your audience to share or show their ideas and content. Now, engagement doesn't always have to be about you and your brand. It can be really engaging to put the spotlight more on your audience and stir up some user-generated content, or UGC. You could integrate your product or service into this by asking customers to share pictures of them using or enjoying it, or you could simply stand back and facilitate an exchange of ideas, creativity, or personal stories on your platform by encouraging them to be shared. Number eight is to share the number one tip for your industry. Now, staking a claim as a thought leader or expert in your field is best achieved little by little, consistently offering tips, advice, and knowledge related to your industry. It's a slow drip education. Now, offering one crucial piece of advice definitely gets our attention if it's framed as the most important thing to know by an expert in your field. Number nine is 3 or 4 things you can do. Now, another way to demonstrate authority in your field is by frequently sharing nuggets of practical advice. You might present useful insights to your audience as quick bullet points in a post, or perhaps as a series in a carousel, which always tends to do a bit better for engagement. Now, offering free advice is a really good look for a small business. Not only do you come across as willing to help, but it also lets us know that you live in this world and have dealt with its nuanced challenges many times before. Number 10 is to share an interesting fact with your audience. Now, the phrase, "did you know?" is irresistible to some, but snackable content like this has really broad appeal and it's easy to create. So consistently sharing knowledge from your field of expertise will, over time, position you as an authority in this space. Deep knowledge of your business and its context also translates as a deep passion for what you do. Number 11 is 5 things to remember. Now, another strategy in sharing tips, advice, or information is to list 4 or 5 essential steps or ideas to navigating a specific challenge. Naturally, it makes sense if these challenges are the ones that your audience faces. Again, this kills 2 birds with 1 stone by demonstrating deep knowledge of your field and sketching a positive persona of a brand that really cares about these things and genuinely wants to help. Number 12 is a mood board for the month. Now, bearing in mind that most social platforms have evolved to become primarily visual, you could post a monthly mood board or a carousel foregrounding an aesthetic that resonates with you. A carousel of collected images is one stripped down way of doing this, but if you're a brand attempting to create a very distinct look and feel on social media, you could spend a few minutes with a mood board template like one of these and just pop in the images, colors, fonts, and general vibe that's inspiring you at the moment. Number 13 is to post 3 featured products or services. Now, 3 featured products or services is a good amount to showcase in the few seconds that we might glance at your post for. It's not enough to overwhelm, but it's definitely enough to give us a strong sense of your wares. You could rotate 3 different products every week or 2, spreading your bets and making this a very easy content form to replicate regularly. Number 14 is to feature this month's best seller. Now, there's bound to be a top seller in your catalog, and it's a great idea to go out fishing on social media with this tried and trusted winner as the bait. By showcasing a product you know to be popular at least once a month, you're working with data that makes it way more likely this post will engage potential customers. Number 15 is to post a reminder. Now, framing your post as a reminder is a clever little trick to stir up some urgency. As such, it has more potential to activate your customers in the form of clicking through, booking an appointment, or at least making a mental or digital note. You can incorporate it as a regular feature in your content calendar, either for lifestyle-related reminders like don't eat lunch at your desk today or drink more water, or to genuinely alert and activate your audience for promotions, things like reminding people that a sale is starting tomorrow or next week. Number 16 is to share some books or podcasts or movies that you love. A glimpse into your personal tastes and interests can be really endearing, or even quite useful for your audience. Like introducing yourself and your team, giving us a sense of the humans behind your business helps develop a connection. Besides, who doesn't need a new podcast to devour right now? Number 17 is the checklist. Now, when it comes to sharing tips and advice, posting a checklist exudes the most confidence, positioning your business as an authority who can tell you everything you need to know. If you want to create the impression of a business that thinks about the full picture in a clear and logical way, then a checklist will definitely do this. Number 18 is mistakes to avoid. Now, as a seasoned pro in your field, which is obviously the perception we're going for, you've probably made a few mistakes along the way. And no doubt they turned out to be lessons in hindsight, and sharing those lessons with your audience is a fantastic form of monthly content. You're telling us that you've been doing this for long enough to discover the pitfalls. You've grown from them, which speaks to a determined or innovative individual or business, and plus you're humble and thoughtful enough to be open about your imperfections in the hope that it might help others. Number 19 is to share a playlist or a song. Now, this is pure fun, unashamedly sharing a slice of who you are as a human being, letting us in on the track that has you dancing in your bedroom at the moment. Platforms like Spotify and Apple Music make sharing tracks very easy on social, but you might want to give your playlist a brand polish by using a template and perhaps even driving to your link in bio for the extra views and engagement with your mobile site. Number 20 is to drive some traffic to your other platforms via link in bio. Now, this is definitely something you should be doing as often as possible, mostly because it brings your audience into contact with your broader online presence. It's at this junction that we'll realize you have a TikTok account or a vlog or a new lookbook, sale, and we'll potentially explore a little bit further. We may just discover an unexpected doorway that leads deeper into your world. Number 21 is to offer a discount or run a flash sale. Now, your annual winter sale might require a well-planned campaign, but even if it's a small one-time only reduction, making discounts or flash sales a regular component of your content strategy will definitely keep awareness afloat. Nobody can ignore a slashed price, so we're more likely to peek over the fence and think about buying one of your products if it's 10% less today. It's also a time to nudge the fence sitters who have been considering booking an appointment for months into action. Number 22 is to post a price list. Now, don't assume we know how much your stuff costs. In fact, we're probably too intimidated or couldn't be bothered to ask you about them. But at the end of the day, we do need to know the price before we seal the deal. You don't have to broadcast this all the time, but giving us a glimpse of your price range takes our imagination out of the mix and puts us in a more realistic paradigm. Number 23 is to run a quick poll. Now, garnering insights, opinions, and content from your audience can be a tall order sometimes. As intriguing as the question might be, not everyone's going to spend a few minutes expressing their ideas in a comment. You're likely to have a much higher engagement with a poll that only takes seconds to participate in. By narrowing down the subject matter and the options, you'll probably see more uptake, in other words, better engagement. And of course, the more responses the poll has, the more valuable the data is. Number 24 is to run a paid ad. Now, at least once a month, it's worth going for the hard sell and running a paid ad. Instagram and other platforms will handsomely reward even very small spends with reach and engagement, exposing your post to hundreds or thousands of consumers who wouldn't ordinarily catch wind of you. They can also be targeted to very specific audiences, letting you hone in on the most likely to engage. Definitely think about using video content for your paid ad, since this is way more likely to get noticed. Number 25 is what we do or how it works. Again, don't presume we know exactly what you do or how the whole thing works in the first place. It might be worth reminding us of these fundamentals by restating some of the things that you probably consider obvious. What services you offer, where you're located, what your specialty is, or how to place an order. If we're coming across your business for the first time, getting to grips with the what, the why, the when, the where, and the how are essential first steps in the relationship. There are always going to be fresh eyes on your brand, so get back to basics regularly. Number 26 is to post a restock or update announcement. Making some noise when new stock comes in or a new flavor gets added to the menu signals to us that your business is dynamic. Product is coming in and selling out, and you're responding to the changing tides of tastes, trends, and seasons. Much like the traditional high street shop, you need to change the window display from time to time to continuously recapture the attention of the passing crowd and project an idea of newness. Number 27 is to sign up for a mailing list. Now, a mailing list of some kind is a really good idea and vastly underrated at a time when social media tends to get most of the attention. If you do have one, you should remind people to sign up from time to time to keep growing that all-important database. You can guarantee early notice on promotions and updates, or dangle a more tangible incentive like a discount or a free gift to get people to sign up. Number 28 is to run a competition. Much like running a monthly discount or a flash sale, a competition can be a really quick win for spiking engagement every month, and it can grow your audience by requiring a follow as the ticket to entry. Again, it definitely needn't be a dream vacation or a jet ski up for grabs. That's more campaign territory. But giving away a free pizza, a haircut, or 2 tickets will still activate a significant number of people to get involved. And finally, when in doubt, post a meme. Nobody likes a brand that's serious all the time, so show us your lighter side. Being in on the joke is also an expression of community at the end of the day. It lets us know you're up to date with the culture. Memes are typically scrappy affairs with some very basic text on a low-res image, but they can certainly be made with a little bit more design polish if you want them to blend in well with your unmistakable social feed. You'll never run out of content ideas with GoDaddy Studio. It's a free app available on iOS, Android, and web. You can download it right now. All the details you need are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider subscribing to this channel to keep learning about GoDaddy Studio. I'll see you next time.